What's up, everybody? Thank you for stopping by. In today's video, we have a Poulan Pro push mower that will not start. First thing we're going to do before we even play around with it is clean the carburetor, because that is 99.9% of the time what is always wrong with it when something won't start. First thing you do is take that off. What size are those? I think 5/16. Yeah, there's two 5/16 and then 2/4 inch little screws. Oops. And I could also see that there was a bunch of dirt and stuff down in the gas tank. I took a look down in there and it didn't look the greatest. And that's probably what the inside of this carburetor is going to look like. Okay, I set you up where you can hopefully see a little bit better. I guess that isn't a 1/4 inch. Well, let's try. I always thought that them must be 9/32. Yeah, 9/32. Wow. I don't use that socket very often. Well, where'd them other screws go? Oh, I found them. There's one kind of hidden up in there, and don't even know if I got it out or not. Yeah, I did. Okay, and setting those off to the side. This just kind of slides out of there. And you can see it doesn't look wonderful. So I'm going to get this top cover off here so you can see a bit better. There are 3 5/16 screws. The other one's right back here. And then these 2 up front. You don't have to take this off, and I'm just doing it so that way it's easier for you guys to see. Just for filming. Because this part here is kind of covering it. The carburetor. And, well, I guess it's a good thing I took that off, because looks like that needs to be blown out a little bit down in there. Put the screws back so I don't lose them. Because knowing me, I will. It's not too bad. At least it's just, some light dust and not a bunch of caked up oil in there. Just let that hang from the rope. Okay, I'll get you back over to the carburetor. This thing is very dirty, but under all that dirt is kind of seems like a decent mower. This tank here just kind of lifts up off of there. It's just held in by a couple little tabs there. And then this should just kind of slide off. Then to get that linkage, just tilt it and it theoretically should, yep, there we go, pop out. Okay, I'll bring it back once I get this kind of situated here real quick. So I took the fuel line off, which all I gotta do is just, slide it off of this little nipple thing there, and look what's coming out of it. That's water. So no wonder this thing didn't want to run. Okay, take that bowl off. Them two little screws right there, which I think are 5/16, if I remember right. Nope, I don't hardly work on these plastic carburetors because I don't like them, but... So are those 9/32? Yes. I would definitely recommend not using a power tool to put these back in, but taking them out is okay with a drill or impact. Well, fuel tank fell down. Okay. Just don't want it to leak any gas out all over the ground. Some people probably might think I should clean this before I work on it, like the whole entire mower. And the reason why I'm not is because I'm going to sell it, and it always sits and gets dirty right before I'm going to list it, and then I just have to clean it a bunch of times. So I just do it all at once instead of 5 and 6 times. Just kind of pry it up. Maybe. Get off of there. Oh, come on. I know you want to. I can see it trying to separate a little bit. Only on camera would this kind of stuff happen. Ah, there we go. Maybe. Yep. That did it. Well, other than a bunch of water, it doesn't look too dirty. Yeah, okay. Wasn't sure if I brought out any carburetor cleaner, and I did. Oh, better grab this rag while I'm here, too. Okay. Wipe that junk out of there. Clean up around the O-ring there. Try not to get it out of its little slot, because it might be tricky to get back in there. Okay. Kind of. Well, I think that's pretty clean. Well, there's a little bit of stuff down in that little cavity there that doesn't want to come out. Well, I might take that up to the garage and blow it out with the air compressor before I put it together. Okay. That should just pry up and out of there. You really can't put this in backwards because it pretty much goes in just one way. If you try to force it the other way, it just simply won't fit. Yep, that's clear. I can see through the jet. Yep, that's clear. Just kind of clean that all off. Yeah, I know, I shouldn't be trying to clean something that needs to be clean on a disgusting table, but that's just what I have for right now. Because I got all the other dirt from everywhere else on it. Clean out down in there. And then this, I think, pops up, which is a little unusual. Well, even if it does, I'm just going to take it out the normal way. There we go. I think that should be able to, well, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, there we go. Ah, it all fell out down in there. Yeah, that's pretty cruddy. Kind of hard to see, but I can see that there's quite a bit of dirt sitting up in there. Just wipe it out, because it's pretty dirty. Ooh, that might be a problem. Nothing wants to... It's not wanting to spray very good. Okay, I'm going to bring this to the air compressor. So I won't show that because I'm on the side of the house. Okay, blew it all off real good with the air compressor. Flush that out in the throat of it a little bit there. And I'll just give that one last little spray just to be sure we're clean. You know, you don't want to blow on it real hard because it is just kind of cheap plastic. So that's the needle. And what that does is it hangs off of the float here, and when the carburetor bowl fills up, it pushes this up, which makes a seal. That needle makes a seal and shuts off the fuel flow until more fuel needs to be let in. And of course, gotta drop it in the dirt again. So we gotta clean it all again. Okay, I'll set that off here to the side on more dirt. And put this in there. Okay, that doesn't feel quite right. And that feels quite right. Yep. Okay, there's that. Now comes the float assembly, which has some dirt all over it. I'll just blow it all off. And then there's a little pin that holds the float down in the carburetor. You want to be sure that your needle and seat are both clean, otherwise it won't make a seal. And then what will happen is it will flood the engine and leak into the crankcase and fill up the crankcase with oil through the piston rings, because you know the rings can only hold back so much, especially of thin gas. Oh, where'd the needle go? Oh, it's stuck up in there. Oh, yeah, of course. You only want to drop because I'm trying to film. Bet the second I shut that camera off, it'd glue itself on there and it wouldn't move. Snap that back on. push it down in its little groove. Now to test, to be sure that the needle is seating, just blow right where with your mouth where the fuel line goes with the carburetor upside down, and that needle should make a seal. Yep, I can't get anything to go past it, so that's a good sign. And I'll just flush out this bowl again, just to be sure it's as clean as it's gonna get. And then I'll just wipe off the gasket one more time because, you know, we're trying to do a carburetor clean here and not make the carburetor dirty. And then I will just flash that a little bit. I think the bowl will only go on one way too, and it seemed to, let's see, yep, I think that's the right way because it seems to fit on there nicely. Now I am going to use the drill just to run it down, but I ain't going to tighten it. Just so that way I don't have to sit here all day with the ratchet. And use a small hand tool just so that way we don't strip out the soft plastic threads. Kind of do it, you know, a little bit evenly so it draws the bowl down all at once and not just on one side. Okay, I wasn't sure if I hit record. Okay, that's clean. Well, I want to clean out down in the throat of the carb a little bit there, just to be sure that's how it should be. Oh yeah, that stuff really tastes good. Okay, I'll bring you back when I'm bring you back to the mower. Okay, now it's just the reverse of what we just did. Put that back on, push that, and I'll just kind of push that rubber back here. That's the breather tube there where the engine sucks in clean air. Push that on. If you don't reconnect this, the engine will not get clean air from the air filter, and it will, over time, ruin the engine. Well, that doesn't seem to want to be springing like it was. Well, let's see. We'll give it a little bit of lubricant down in there. Maybe it's just kind of dry. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I know why, because I got this little rubber tube here in there the wrong way. It's supposed to run through there like that, and I have the other way, of course. Yeah, now that's moving freely. Yes, I am going to clean this before I sell it. Just not now because it's just going to sit and get dirty again before I get it listed up for sale. I'll just take off the recoil cover, which is just 3 little screws, so I don't care about redoing or taking that off again because it takes a few seconds. Oh, here's that rag. You do want to be sure that the inside of this breather hose is clean because, you know, like I said, that's where it gets the clean air it needs. And if it sucks in a bunch of dirt, it will get in between the piston and the cylinder, and it will just act like sandpaper and chew away at the cylinder, ruin the engine. Now, I will clean this, which I'm just going to use degreaser and a brush, so I'll bring it back once that's good and clean. Okay, I got the air filter base here pretty well clean. That goes on like that. The breather, this hose here, goes on this part right here. That's what that's for. I don't have the right air filter, which I plan to order them tonight. I can get a 2-pack for I think like $7. And I need two because I have a different push mower that I should have a video on. When? I don't know. And it takes the same air filter and it's got the same plastic carburetor on it. So that's a pretty good cheap deal. The two really fine thread screws go kind of on the outside. Those go into the metal. And then the real coarse, aggressive looking screws go in the plastic part of the carburetor. These here, that's what coarse threads look like. Let's see. I can't really, oh, there we go. I can just barely see that. And let's see. There's the 9/32. I've never gotten the point of them stupid motorcycles that people think are the coolest thing out there. It just makes you look like just makes it look stupid to me. But they think they're the coolest one in town if they got themselves a fancy little motorcycle. Whatever. And them two are 5/16. You don't want to tighten them until they loosen again because that means you strip them out. That primer bulb seems to be in pretty decent shape. It's not real cracked up and it's still pliable. Okay. So there's the bowl I'm going to dump the gas and water mix into. This will need a new spark plug because it's got some Chinese spark plug in it that's not the right one. I think I do have one though. Oh well, that fuel line is pretty much blocked off. Oh yeah, it's got a ton of water in it. water is heavier than gas. It's kind of like the oil and water, you know. The gas is, we'll say that gas is the oil, and then, you know, the water. Because you see the bubble underneath? That's all a bunch of water. Okay. So it looks like we're going to need a new little piece of fuel line here, which I'll move the camera just a little bit here. Just slide that clamp off. And sometimes these fuel lines like this one are a bit tricky to get off of there. They get so stuck on there over time. Well, I guess, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rinse this out with water and then just let it sit and dry, and maybe stuff a rag down in there and just, you know, dry it out. So I won't show that because nobody wants to sit there and watch me rinse something out. Alright. Okay, I got the inside of the gas tank all cleaned up. Now, I am just going to put a new piece of fuel line on it because it's such a tiny little piece. Might as well do it. I've got this random cheap stuff from one of them random carburetor kits I've gotten. And I will just cut a new one. Unfortunately, it is not long enough to install a fuel filter. Otherwise, I sure would install one. Okay, that's almost the exact same size. I'm going to reuse the old clamps because, you know, they're still in fine shape. And slip that on. Just make sure that little nipple there is cleaned. I can't really get that into the camera because I gotta push it on there real hard. But you should know how to push on the fuel line. You have to get a little bit of lubricant on that. That don't want to move too good. Yeah, that seemed good. That seemed to help a little bit. Wow. Don't have to worry about that ever coming off of there again. And get the other clamp on there. Like that. Okay. Let's see. Raise you up just a little bit. Wow, the traffic on this road never stops. And then to put the tank in, you just kind of slide those tabs onto the tabs in the metal. It's pretty nice little design there. You don't have to play around with any hardware. And to put this fuel line on, it is buried down in there, and I've barely got enough space to see it, and I think that'll be alright. Got a tiny little kink in it, but It'll be okay. I'd rather have it tiny bit too that blurry. I think that's pretty good. Well, hang on. Yeah, there we go. Didn't seem like it was very clear. Like I said, I will clean this off maybe tomorrow, but but I just don't want to tonight because I don't want to get out the pressure washer and all that. It's too dirty to not pressure wash it. And those three go back in. Get the socket here. Let's see. Now I'll throw the air filter cover on there. So I'll have to get one. Get that air filter ordered. Because I don't have any on hand right now. I do need to get some lubricant on the wheels because they don't want to spin all that well. Wow, I wonder if this traffic is ever going to stop. Seems like it picks up every time I turn the camera on, too. Let's see if this drill can take this nut off. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. The chuck in this drill don't have the screw in it because it got messed up, so it just kind of doesn't like to work too good sometimes on real tight stuff. I think this one here, yeah, this one you can see doesn't want to turn too good. Okay, that wasn't horribly tight. How rusty it is, I figured it would have been a lot harder. Yeah, it ain't wanting to slide off of there. I don't know why people don't do this kind of stuff. It's just basic maintenance is what it is. But nobody likes to maintain their stuff, you know. I don't understand it. They'll buy something, but yet they won't take care of it, you know. Like, it just takes a little bit of time. You can't, you know, if you're too lazy to spend, you know, an hour taking care of your stuff, then don't cry about it when it never works. It's just basic maintenance. It just really upsets me how people treat their stuff, you know. Try to clean out down in the tire there a little bit. Okay, I gotta go grab the grease. I'll be back. The grease I'm using is Red and Tacky, Lucas Red and Tacky. It can be any grease you want. It can be generic Walmart grease. You know, it's a little push mower tire. You know, we're not blasting off to the moon. We're just pushing it around your yard. Oh yeah, that feels so much better. I'll put a little bit on them threads too, because they were kind of real stiff. And that Lucas stuff is kind of expensive, but it is also very good quality grease. But you know, you don't need something super heavy duty for a little plastic push mower tire, but you don't want it always bone dry, because then it gets hard to push and all rusty and nasty. Hard to find a good camera spot and all the little bumps in the yard, because you know, you put it one spot and it looks good when you're holding it in your hand, and then you set it down and it flops all over the place. Oh well. Might also help a little bit if I put the ratchet in the right way. There we go. This one spins just about the same, if not a little bit worse, almost. I won't show doing the back two, because the back two wheels is the same exact thing. Just clean the shaft and put some grease on there. Yeah, wow. This does not want to come off hardly at all. This makes it incredibly easy to push. Where's the... Oh, wait. I just like to soak it in a little bit of carb spray first, and then a real grippy Scotch-Brite pad does the trick. Let's see, am I filming? Yeah. Didn't know if I hit the record button. I did also spray these adjusters, because they were pretty tough to move. You just spray it kind of around that big bolt head where it goes, where it pivots on. Kind of hard to do this because the push mower is real light, so there's not much weight to it, and it likes to lift the whole thing up, trying to do the bottom half. That shaft is so rusty, I ended up getting this little brass brush on the drill, and I'll bring it back once I get it cleaned up. There we go. Now it's all nice and shiny. Rinse it off a little bit. I'll spray some cleaner down in there. Get some of that junk out of there. The back two are the same size nut, same everything, just, you know, same old process. So I won't show that, because twice is good enough. Trying to get this grime out of there. Yeah, dude. Ooh, yeah, that spins real nice, like. That nut on there. Let's see, yeah. I always try to double check if I'm filming or not, because it'd be kind of sad if I did all this and, you know, a section was left out. Oh yeah, these spin like they're brand new. So I'll do the back two tomorrow. Same thing, like I already said. Same nut and everything. So, well, now, I guess, I'm going to take a little brush and get all the loose debris off of it real quick here. Let's see. And then I'll set it down, go grab a gas can, fill it up with gas, and see if it starts or what. Get all that crap off of there. And this is another thing that I don't understand, is why people, won't just take a leaf blower and blow off all this light debris. It just takes, you don't even have to have a leaf blower, just a little air compressor, or whatever you have, a little brush like this. I mean, who doesn't have just a random old brush sitting around, Honestly, just downright laziness. Here's, need to check the oil, so I'll clean up around there. There, I mean, that looks twice as good already, and it still ain't really clean. Okay, let's see what this oil looks like, which it's kind of buried up in there. It's that little yellow cap. I'll try to bring you to the back so you can see in there. Oh, now the sun wants to shine. Much junk on the screen. I think that's pretty good there. Yeah, if I put it up any, the sun will get in the way. Let's see. I need some pliers. I'll come around the other side. Yeah. Every time I turn around, I need something. Can't find it, even though it's right in front of me. It's finally not like 95 degrees out here, so I'm going to try to get a couple things done. This is included. Don't want any dirt falling in the engine. Oh, the oil is full, and it seems to be clean. Here, I'll wipe the dipstick off real quick. I got the rag over here. I might not even need to change it. Well, overfilled a little bit, but it'll be good enough to... It's full enough to where I can test it, and it's not really on a level surface, so... Alright, I'll get it off the table, get some gas in it, and bring you back right before I try to start it. Okay, I got some gas in it, and let's see what happens. Hopefully something good. Okay, so I'm going to raise up the RPMs just a tiny bit. There's a little tab that the governor spring is connected to behind the gas tank. Okay, I bent that tab a tiny bit. So let's see what happens now. Runs a little bit faster. I think I bent it the wrong way because now it's going slower. Okay, now let's see what happens. Well, I won't prime it because flipping it over might have given it a little bit of extra gas from the carburetor kind of moving around. That's probably why it's so hard to start. Okay, another success. So now all that's left to do is just clean it up a little bit. I will, of course, get a new air filter, which I'm not going to film that because you just take the cover off and flop the new one in. Put in the correct spark plug, get the blade sharpened, clean or grease them back tires, which is the same as the front, and it should be ready to get up for sale. So that'll be it for this video, and a small update on that MTD riding mower. I got to get the intake gasket and a couple other random things because I forgot to order it, because, you know, that's just how it goes. So that'll be it for this video. I should have a couple others coming out soon on maybe a couple push mowers or something. I don't know when. And then, of course, that MTD when I get the gasket. I've been having a lot of trouble with eBay shipping on the last 2 orders, I think it was. So I hope that I don't have trouble with this one, because Amazon wanted like $30 for it for some reason, and eBay was like $7. Well, guess it's box truck day because I've seen a lot go by. Alright, well, that'll be it. Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to, and see you later. Bye.